Sonia, it's great to see you. It's been a few months since I've seen you. Thank you for coming to my place on a Sunday.
Thank you for having me, Luke. This is awesome opportunity for me.
And you used to vacation in Kelowna, and then you ended up moving here in 2002. Was it kind of like when I was a kid, we used to go to Florida for Christmas holidays. And my dad would say to me, people actually live here. It's not just a vacation spot. And I actually got to live in Florida for 2 years in the late 1990s. Was it kind of like that? Like, were you happy to be moving here in 2002?
It was actually really cool. When I came the first time ever to Canada, that was my first big flight. I was 24 or something. I loved Canada the moment I laid my eyes on it in the plane. That's it. When I flew over the mountains and everything, I landed in Vancouver. I was picked up and we drove to 100 Mile House. Then we did a trip to Kelowna and Kamloops, and I was in awe about the landscape, about the people. I couldn't get enough. So I had 4 weeks here and I didn't want to go. I was crying when I left. And it's like, I'm not homesick. I was born in Germany. So it's like, I like to travel. I like to go some places, right? But that was love at first sight. Absolutely. And then I started coming back in 94, twice a year. Every time I could get away from my job in Germany, I just was here on vacation.
And it was here in Kelowna?
Here in Kelowna on the west side, below Missionary Winery, I was staying. And I had that gorgeous view every morning. And when I had to leave, I was like, no, I want to make it possible to come here. And I did that in 2002.
Nice. So tell us what you do.
What I do now is I started with a construction company importing clay roofing tiles, but I stopped doing that because I changed my focus on what I really love, designing and making jewelry. And I get so many inspirations from nature here. I hike a lot and I do martial arts. So this is where I get my Zen moments and my adrenaline going and flowing and up, and people inspire me here. And I make my jewelry based on the personality of the person I make the jewelry for.
So it's custom?
Yes, it's all custom. Yes, and I work in silver. I'm a silversmith too. And I work towards my goldsmithing part, and I do design for the person.
Right.
And if the husband, for example, comes to me and says, can you do something for my wife? I will say, show me a picture if I don't know the person, and ask some questions, a little bit more personal, what is the favorite color and what does she like to do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I look at the pictures on Facebook. I sneak a little bit, sneak peek.
Right.
And then I make my creations.
Yes.
And my success rate is 100% so far.
So it could be anything, right?
Yes,
earrings, rings,
yes.
bracelets,
yes,
all kinds of things.
I just designed, I'm in the stage of designing an engagement ring right now. So for a very beautiful person in white gold with diamonds, very traditional, but I also do very funky stuff. So this is, if somebody gives me free rein, I do crazy stuff.
Well, white gold, can a layperson tell the difference between white gold and silver? Can I tell the difference?
Let's take a look.
All right.
So this is, the listeners can't see it, but this is white gold and this is silver.
Okay.
It's hard to tell the difference.
It's a lot hard, yeah.
But white gold is harder than silver. Silver is yeah.
Is it a little shinier, or is that just the way it's polished?
No, it's the way it's polished.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. So you can do
But you can tell.
Yes, I can tell. And I can tell the difference between a diamond or a moissanite, or if it's a garnet or a ruby. I know my gemstones. I know the semi-precious. I know the precious.
Beautiful. So you said you take inspiration from nature. So if you're on a hike and maybe you see a pattern in a tree or something, would you take a photograph of it and then?
No, it's the colors. It's not the shapes. Shapes. Yeah, yes and no. Actually, yes, a little bit the shapes, but not like a leaf. I look rocks. Rocks is the fascination because I base my creations on what the healing properties are of the stones.
Interesting.
So based on what I think goes together for the person I make it for. And when I'm hiking at Knox Mountain, which is one of my favorite hiking spots here, and same as Mont Boucherie or Rose Valley. But Knox Mountain is just majestic, and it has rocks, and you see animals, and you see the colors in the spring and the fall, and it's just, that's inspiration for for my creations.
Very nice. Yes. Have you always been into creating things and jewelry specifically? Do you remember a time as a young girl when you were doing this? Has it always been a part of your life?
No, it wasn't actually. I was always creative, but on different levels. So I was good in school in arts. I'm ambidextrous, which is good because both of my brain halves are working pretty much the same level. So I am very analytical because I have a banking diploma. That's actually where I came from. And I did accounting as well. So, but the real me is the creative side. So the good news is I can pair my analytical part with my creative part. So I have the business width.
Yes.
And I have the artsy part, right?
Yes.
So, and if you put that together, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it took me, I dabbled in jewelry making for 18 years, just besides my jobs and my company, my construction company.
So it was sort of like a hobby.
Yeah, it was a hobby. Yes, for the last 18 years. But last year in November, I decided it's time to follow my passion. And that's when I really, for earnest, started. And my webpage is up and running. And
wonderful.
Yeah.
So you left your other profession.
Yes.
There was an overlap there because you were doing this for people for a few years now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes. And I still do. I still have, that's funny. I manage a mobile home park. That is because I have flexible hours.
Yes.
That complements my jewelry making.
Property management is a good profession for people to get into if you've got other passions.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes you're busy and other times you're not.
Yes, exactly. And so it balances itself out.
Nice.
Which is awesome.
Do you deal with a lot of crazy people? And you don't have to mention any names, but
no.
I was a property manager for 11 years.
Yes.
And most of the time it's a very pleasant job. But once in a while, you get somebody who's a bit of a maniac.
Yes.
And you have to evict them.
Yes. Well, yes, that's true. Yeah. Well, once in a while you have these crazy people, but you know what? I always treat them as a human being.
Yes.
And
they could be going through any kind of stress.
And I don't take it personal. So I think that's the most important thing. I look at it from a very analytical point of view and try to be compassionate with that person because usually there's something else going on. Yes. It is not what is happening in the park or what is happening with this person. It's in the personal lives that's happening. Very and true. That transpires then into, you're not, you have to do this and that and the other and you don't do this and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And no, I keep calm about it and usually I can diffuse the situation.
Right. I'm curious if you had any sort of anxiety as an analytical person. You said now you're going to do this creative thing full time. Was it easy to make that decision and just say, well, I'm putting corporate life behind me and I'm going to do this because it's my passion?
Well, I was kind of, my life forced me into it in a good way because 4 years ago, I separated and walked away from that construction business. And I had to rethink what I wanted to do. And because anxiety was one part because the lawsuit and everything going on, right? Divorce is not that easy on the psyche. And so I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I did work as a COO and I worked as an office manager just to make ends meet and and I thought, wow, this is a good career and I can do this and I can do this. But I discovered that I don't take orders very well.
Right.
So that forced me to rethink again. And I'm like, okay, so what do you really want to do? You're an entrepreneur. I was it all my life. Even when I was working for a big high-tech company in Germany, but I was as a sales manager. So I could do whatever, right? I had my free reign and this only my numbers had to be all right. And that's what I did. So I was always independent. And when I was working for somebody, it was hard for me to see, because I saw things that were not what I would have done, and I couldn't shut my mouth. So, long story short, that means you got to go on your own. Mm-hmm. And what do? You want to do something that you love. Yes. So I love my jewelry, but I also love the property management part because I get to interact with people and I can use my skills. Yes. And it gives me the freedom for my jewelry. That's what it is. I can, grow my company. I grow my clientele. I have repeat customers already, which is awesome. It's word of mouth most of the times. Mm-hmm. I will start an Instagram account soon. I have somebody who's helping me, a friend. So I love it. Yeah. And the anxiety came more from the divorce. And I lost myself in the whole marriage kind of thing. And finding myself after that and healing from whatever happened, that was the biggest part. And now I do what I love. Mm-hmm. And people can tell. And this is why I sell my jewelry. And it is a little bit always about the money, because the money helps you to have a roof on top of your head, have food on the table.
Yes. And be able to keep doing it.
Yes, and keep doing it, right? So invest in the jewelry and, a shop and all that stuff. But it's about the people. Yeah. When I see the faces, when they open the presents, or when the husband phones me and says, oh my gosh, or even the wife or girlfriend, they phone me up. And when we meet and it's like, oh my gosh, how did you know that I like it that much?
Right.
This is what makes my heart sing.
That's wonderful. Is it a big learning curve to learn about suppliers and costs and things like that? Or was that pretty easy for you, having an analytical mind? Was it easy to figure out that side of the business?
Yeah, well, yes, it was actually easy because because of my business background. I know how to source things. I was in high tech for almost 20 years. So it's like, okay, I can use a computer. I know how to do the sources. And I was very lucky. I had a little bit of a help from a silversmith who is my teacher and mentor. Yes. Sherry Vasiliev. And she is on the west side. And she is the one who taught me what I know now. And I love her to bits, and she is so supportive, and she helped me with, the last little vendors I needed, and that is amazing. She shares, which is awesome in that
That's
world.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Luke Mankus is a realtor with RE/MAX Kelowna. He loves what he does. We asked Luke if he had any regrets about moving here in 2011, and he always says, yeah, one regret, and that is he didn't move here sooner. When Luke came here, he didn't know anyone. He didn't know the neighborhoods or anything or anyone besides his daughter, who was 6 years old at the time. So he knows what it's like. Now, he's an expert and has helped well over 100 single people, couples, families, and investors with their real estate needs in the Okanagan. If you're new to our beautiful city, Luke can help you get connected with great lawyers, dentists, carpenters, landscapers, swimming pool installers, you name it. And whether you're new to Kelowna or not, Luke knows real estate. He can help you find a great property, negotiate a good deal, and hold your hand all the way through the process until the day you get your shiny new set of keys. Luke is known as a no-pressure kind of guy. He's had clients where it took even a year or more to get them into a property. He just doesn't believe in rushing things. On the other hand, when you decide it's time to act, he's diligent, and he'll work day and night until the job is done. Give Luke Mankus a call or a text message at any time, 778-215-4273. Again, that's 778-215-4273, 778-215-4273, to chat with Luke about real estate.
Is it a little bit dangerous sometimes? Are you dealing with high heat and?
Yes. Yeah, you have. See, that's the point. I'm in the process of finding a house where I can install a shop outside because you can't have the torches and everything in a house.
Right.
The insurance just doesn't allow that. No, they don't like that. You can blow up a house if you're not careful, right?
Yeah.
So yes, you work with high heat and you can burn yourself. But you have to wear masks for the silver dust and the gold dust and everything. But this is just part of the profession. It's okay. You just have to be careful. You just have to know what to do. And I've been taught that. So,
have you had any explosions?
Nope. No. I have a meltdown. I melted two pieces of silver. I melted oh my God, it was done. You couldn't do anything with it anymore. Yeah. It was totally burnt. So,
gold is a lot more expensive than silver. Do you work with gold a lot? Or?
I'm in the process of starting it. So I have a mentor as a goldsmith, and so he's helping me understand how high the heat has to be and how delicate. And so that's I will do the engagement ring together with him. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And have you had any unusual requests for a shape or something that you were kind of, I don't know how I'm going to make that?
No, actually, I challenged myself because what you can see here, I made. So my teacher, my silversmith teacher, she said to me, you always come with these crazy ideas and then we have to figure it out. I did a suspension of a selenite and then I put a 7 sacred stone on top, and I wanted to have air in between, so nothing in between, and we had to have a wire and bend and top, and she says, this is crazy, and I'm like, but I would like to do this, and she says, yeah, then let's do this, and that's what we did. So yeah, I'm my most the hardest critic, and I challenge myself the most because I like these funky designs.
Yes. Describe your necklace and pendant for us.
Oh,
it's really unique looking. I've never seen anything quite like that. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I had a black kyanite, and it is in the form of half an angel wing, I would say. And the black kyanite is like slate, so it's a layered stone, which is pretty hard to work with because they are brittle. So I made a platform.
What do you use with this kyanite?
Oh, and the tools?
Yeah, to shape it.
No, it comes like that.
Oh, it's like that.
You pick it out. So you can, I don't do the stones myself. So what I do is I look for stones on the internet. I look in auctions. I go to shows and pick these stones.
Right.
And usually I look for unusual shapes. And I don't care what I do with it at this moment. I just know this is the stone I have to pick. And then I worry about it afterwards. I'm not worried, but I think about it afterwards. Yes. So, and with this one, it was, that was a gift, this kyanite to me. And it's like a half angel wing. And so I had to make a platform to sit it on. And I used a jewelry saw to cut the shape and made it a little bit following the contours of the black kyanite. And then I made a little bit of a wall to support the kyanite on one side because it lifts up a little bit. And to make it more interesting, because the black kyanite by itself doesn't look much, I had an oval labradorite at the end of the angel wing, and in the middle of the angel wing, black kyanite, I put a blue topaz. And in order to make that happen, and it looks suspended in the air kind of, I used a square wire and soldered it on the back, bend it on the top and on the bottom, and then attached a bezel and a basket setting for the two stones.
That's amazing.
Yes, and then I did the bail.
And how much time would you spend thinking about that versus actually putting your hands on it and shaping?
The design, it took me about 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes.
Yes.
You come up with a concept,
yes.
You do a little sketch.
Yes, I do a sketch. Yes.
And start to work.
Yes.
And then how approximately would it take to produce that?
That was a 5-hour day.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
it's,
it was done.
It's amazing. So some things are quite quick, I imagine, and some things take. What was the longest you've spent on one piece?
2 days. It is a bracelet, and the bracelet has, how do I describe that? It has movement. So the bracelet moves. It has 5-10 bangles, so to speak, and they're bent in a kind of a U shape, or V shape, U shape, and then 5 of the bangles are twisted, and I hand twisted it, and then I had to form it, and then I had to solder it, and that took me 2 days because that was really tough work, and that was my second silver creation I did.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you also have the hobby of martial arts?
Yes.
When did you start martial arts?
4 years ago, I started with Muay Thai kickboxing, and 2 years ago, I started Taekwondo, and I'm a 5th cup. That means I have a green belt with a blue stripe. So it's my 6th belt.
Nice. And are you going towards black belt?
Yes, I already have a black belt sitting on the vitrine. I can look at it. I'm not allowed to touch it, but I think in a couple of years.
So you look at it and it gives you inspiration.
Yes, it does.
To keep going.
Yes.
How often do you have to practice to get to that level in a couple more years?
Well, I practice about 4 to 6 times a week.
Is it, that's a lot. Yes. So are you going to a class 4 to 6 times a week or I
go to a class. I go Tuesday mornings to a pattern class. And so we learn patterns, and the patterns are the basic for the belt testing. But we also do self-defense on Tuesdays in the afternoon or in the late afternoon, early evening. I go again for Taekwondo, and we usually do patterns as well, and sparring, and learning new techniques. And then after that it's called a Quest Fit. It's a fitness kickboxing session, and it's based on a little bit Taekwondo and core and kickboxing. So you really punch and kick.
Yeah, well, it gets you in great shape, right?
Yes.
I imagine it was difficult when you first started, like a little bit.
But the irony of it all was I always wanted to do martial arts, and I always wanted to do kickboxing. So I started at Toshido in 2014 before I moved out of the marital home. So that my anger issues I had, because that's exactly what it was. I really channeled into martial arts.
Yes.
And so it didn't feel to me that it was difficult, because the other thing was I lost 120 pounds in the 9 months prior to starting kickboxing. So I needed a sport that is high impact in the sense of get me going and, get it all sorted. And mentally and physically, that helped me a lot. It was amazing, yes. Yeah. And I'm very thankful for my coach, David. And now I'm grateful for my coach, Chris, coach, instructor, sensei, however you want to call it. Because they both kept me going and encouraged me and said, you know what, even when my muscles are sore and when you feel like, oh my God, I can't do it anymore, they make you do it.
That's wonderful. My daughter, 13 and a half now, and she's been doing Kung Fu since she was 7. And there were a couple of times when she was younger, she wanted to quit. And, they introduced a new move. You repeat it hundreds of times, and then they introduced something new.
Yes.
And she said, I just can't do it. I can't do it. And she burst into tears, and they encouraged her. And now she does it with ease. She can do it, almost blindfolded. Yes. She's really glad that she stuck with it.
Yes. It helps you in all aspects of life, because it teaches you perseverance. It teaches you patience, because it's not like this. Yeah. Right? So you have to work for it. Right. And you have to stick to it. You have to be disciplined about it. And you have to be calm about it. You have to want it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing. Same with everything. You have to love what you do.
Yes.
Whatever it is, in business, in personal life. If you're not happy, nothing is moving in the right direction.
That's so true. So true. So what sort of price range do you have in your jewelry? So if I said I want to get something for my girlfriend,
yes.
What's like the minimum I can spend or the maximum I can spend?
Oh, the max. Oh, you can spend whatever you want. But I make earrings, let's say, for $50, $55. I also do funky stuff like Swarovski crystals. They're more in the $70, $80 range. I do necklaces.
What's the
Swarovski crystals? Oh, this is glass, but it's like a rhinestone kind of glimmer kind of stuff.
And it lights. You can light it up.
No, it's like, have you ever been to Sparkling Hills?
Yes.
See, so all the crystals?
Yes.
That's Swarovski, and this is what I use.
Nice.
In my creations. So for, New Year's, for Christmas, and all these occasions, and fancy dinners, or galas, and you can spend a few $1,000s. It's easy, like with white gold and diamonds and rubies and all that.
Right.
But let's say the average necklace is around $120, $140.
Right. How much lead time do you like if someone calls you with a custom order?
I like to have a week, but if somebody calls me today and says I need it tomorrow, and I say, well, you can come and take a look what I have in stock, because I have a few things in stock usually. And if it's
an emergency,
it's an emergency. So yes, it's usually
she's really hungry.
Yes, I usually get it done even within 24 hours if it has to be. I'm not super happy about it because right, obviously, but I can do it.
It's possible.
Yes, it's possible. I make it possible.
Do you have a website with some samples?
Yes, I have a website. My website is soniasvision.com, and you can see what I made and what I have in stock. It's on there. I have some silver rings in stock. I have pendants in stock, and I have necklaces, bracelets, and earrings in stock. And I'm on the Touch of Christmas show next... December 1st.
Yeah, great. Well, we'll get this released sooner.
Okay.
Because if you're mentioning something that's coming,
we
did this. Yeah, no, it's no problem. It's no problem. Because sometimes it is a little time sensitive, and hopefully a few more people will turn into the show.
Yes.
So where is that appearing?
It's at the New Life Church, where the Wood Fire Bakery is.
Nice. On December 1st.
On December 1st, yes.
Okay.
Touch of Christmas. It's for hands and service, so it is for a nonprofit organization as well.
Right.
Yes.
So we'll put links to everything in the show notes so people can find it.
Yes. Okay. I can do that.
Sonia, who would you like to nominate?
I would like to nominate my good friend and awesome business partner, Sean McMillan from OrthoQuest.
Tell us a little bit about Sean. Just a little bit.
Sean is the guy who does, who makes shoes, who make you feel good. So he does pedossex and orthodontics or whatever that's called. Orthopedics. Yes, I'm sorry. See, English as a second language sometimes, gets me. And they do braces. His wife is a kinesiologist. So
it is orthodontics.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure if you were saying shoes.
Well, they do shoes too.
Oh,
yes.
okay. So that's orthopedics.
Yes, it's both. It's both. They do both.
Okay.
So they do the whole spiel.
So you were correct.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. I got that right. They are on Richter, and they have a business. And
what's the name of the business?
It's OrthoQuest.
OrthoQuest. Great. That's great. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Today was great to see you.
Yes. Yes, likewise. Wonderful. Thank you so much, and have a good Sunday.
You too.